Welcome to another episode of This Old Hoopty, where I take this piece of crap and try and make it a little more pretty, I hope. Let's get right into it, start where we left off last week, and keep rolling on to the other side. So for lots of you guys out there, you've got messed up bushings, door pins, etc. If you want to take a quick listen to this. Yeah, that doesn't sound too good, does it? That's why we took the other side off. That's why we're working on it. So we're going to start off removing this door here and get it to match the other side. Top's off. Let's quickly get this spring out and then we'll tap that pin out. And just like the other side, we're going to take our lady's foot and we're going to wedge it right here under the hinge. Put the tip in the middle of the spring and we're just going to pop it. There you go, spring's out. So this is solid steel. Nothing's going to happen by popping that spring out. You don't need to be afraid of these bits and pieces or whatever. I mean, you could take the time and compress it and pull it out, but compress it and putting it back in, much easier. This, popping it out, much easier. Why waste the time? Now that there's no more tension from the spring down here, this should just pop right out. A couple whacks. There you go. And as you can see, that's why our door was squeaking and creaking and whatnot, because this no longer rolls. There you go. That would be straight, so let's keep going. Just need a pair of clippers. We're going to cut this red wire here behind the door so I can fix it behind the door. That's for my shaved door solenoids. We are also going to need a pick and a flathead screwdriver, and that's going to be to take the tops of the bottom and top pin off, and also it makes it easier to take apart the two little plastic harnesses for all the wires to control the door. Let's get that done really quick. So now I'm going to take the sharp end of this little pick here and I'm going to wedge it underneath this little cap, and on the bottom there's a little cap underneath here as well. So I'll get those with enough space to be able to shove this underneath it and pop them up. For those of you who are new to the channel, we're doing a budget resto mod on this C1500. I'd appreciate it if you got anything from this video. Hit that like button, hit subscribe if you want to keep up with what's going on this channel. Got a lot of automotive, lowrider stuff, house, home DIY, things like that. A little bit of maybe some programming. I may throw some of that on here, may not. With Raspberry Pis, Raspberry Pi Picos to control media centers and some of the electronics within this truck and my other truck out there. See that 2000 Tahoe Limited. We're going to drop that one as well and completely redo it. So if that's your thing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let's get back to work. Okay, you want to carefully remove both sides of the boot from the door and the pillar, and then you're going to pull out these two little harnesses from inside here. Be careful, this edge is not really sharp, but you don't want to be pulling on it like this, because if you end up stripping one of these wires, just make sure you check the wires before you put them back in, because if you end up scraping one of these, you're going to have a short in your door. So you could pop the window up and down or whatever, and then you can actually start frying fuses and you'll be all confused or whatever. But just make sure to check your wires before you retuck them. All right, let's get these two harnesses separated. On the smaller one, you're just going to pop a flathead screwdriver right here under this little clip and just gently wedge it apart. There's one. On the larger one, look for the side with the single prong and the two little gaps here. So you guys can see that. You're going to just pop this under here to release that single prong and then slide it apart. There you go. Pry this little piece off here off the top, just like that. Now, let me see if I can show this to you. So, when you're taking these two washers or clips off the top of the pins, you really don't have to worry about waffling them or breaking them or whatever. They're unimportant. The new pins that you're going to put in are going to have these little C-clips that run into this little slot right here at the top. So you don't really need the old ones at all. So if you pop them off, if you break them, it doesn't make a difference. Just keep going, and the new clips will hold the new pins in. So nothing to worry about. So There's a lot of different ways to get these pins out. I use a longer lady foot and a 3-pound sledgehammer for the top one. Alright, as you can see, the top one's out. Now, guys, don't forget, something needs to support the door. So for this bottom one here, I use a smaller punch, enough to get underneath there, and the same 3-pound mallet. There we go. All right, so we've got our top pin just fell completely out. Our bottom pin is just being held on by the top here. I'm gonna pull those out and this door's coming right off. Make sure that the door's supported on the jack. I'm gonna take just something and shove it through the top loop, because that's easier to get off. So now I've got something pinned in the top, and I'm gonna completely release this bottom pin. Second pin out. Okay, there's nothing holding this door on anymore. Let's remove it. I'm gonna kick this jack out of the way so I can get past here. All right, I'll be right back. Now we can get our first look at these bushings. See what we're working with here. These are actually still intact. They're actually still pretty good. I'm gonna replace them anyway since I'm already in here. Remember, your bottom bushings are not in the frame or the cab. The bottom bushings are inside the door. Hopefully you guys can see those right there. Your bottom bushings are in the door. So do not drill these out. I know I'm being repetitive here, but I've seen that some people end up drilling them out, and that's not how it's done. I'm gonna use my punch and my 3-pound sledge to pop these bushings out. If you need these tools or any other shown in this video, once again, go into that description below. All my tools are listed there. Let's quickly bang these out. There's one. This one goes from the bottom. Let's get these wires out of the way. There's two. So here are our old bushings. So that'll get it 99% of the way in. There's 100. Same thing with the bottom. Remember, this pin is coming up through here and then sliding into that one. Just tap it home. There we go. Now we'll work on the roller pin. I'm gonna grind down these little grooves a little bit to make it easier to slide it home. All right, to take down this knurling a little bit, I'm just gonna use the Dremel tool with a metal stone. Should grind this nice and fast. Let's bring her home. Luckily, I'm sanding and refinishing this part of the truck. Almost there. Alright, the part with the clip is above the hinge, but I'm going to take it up a tiny bit higher and call it a day. You'll take your little C-clip that came in the pack, line it up with the grooves, and then just push it in. There we go. New non-squeaky roller. We'll throw some grease in here while we're in here. Same thing with these two. This is the part that I used, guys. The Dorman 38433. It's listed in the description below. Now that I've got the roller pin in and the new bushings, let's make this look like this. For those of you who watched me do the other side, you'll notice this is slightly different because I left the rubber door trim on. This door trim, there's nothing wrong with it. It's actually, I believe it's been replaced. It's nice, it's firm, there's no leaks or anything like that. So what I'm doing is I'm just running the tape right up to the edge, and then I'm pulling it inwards and locking it to the plastic piece behind here. That's what I've done across the whole top here. And that leaves me a little gap to shoot the paint into. So my standard disclaimer, keep in mind, I'm not an automotive painter, I'm not a painter, period. What I do works for me. If you find that it'll work for you, be my guest and use it. If you have a better way of doing it, go ahead and do that. If you're a professional, probably not watching this channel unless you enjoy seeing some lowriders refurbished or whatever. But if you are, I hope you enjoy it. All right, first layer's done. I still have my nice gap. All right, well, we're making some progress in here. The plants are being watered out there. Like every other day in Florida, it's now raining. So far, this is pretty good. It's an East Coast truck, so there hasn't really been any rust. Found a little tiny bit right here where the paint is starting to bubble. So I'm just going to take this brush here, it's a metal bristle brush, and I'm going to brush across the entire area, just past it, above and below, get all the paint, and get it down, as you can see here, all the rust removed. Then I'll coat that with a rust converting agent and use a self-etching primer. So while I'm poking at any paint that I see has a bubble or a chip and I'm peeling it back to a good area, I'm also using the razor blade to clean around this. And then I take the metal bristle brush and also go around this, get anything that's trapped in there out, and also really scuff up this metal here. Same thing as the other side, 220 grit on a little block. Get in these little nooks and crannies. I just take it off the block, fold it by hand, and all these little inner bits. After getting everything into primer, it reveals these little flaws. I saw a little area that seemed soft here, so I pushed into it, and there was another little bit of damage, so I'm gonna have to fix that. The rest of this came out perfect. It's now nice and solid. The body line matches up with what's next to it. This side here is solid, ready to go. No more holes. Anything that is completely coated was done in filler primer, so I can get out any dents, dings, etc. I also coated the other items in primer. This way I didn't have all different blues, greens, whites, and all the different colors. It's just one even color, and then I can get onto the paint. So you don't have to prime the entire thing from what I understand, so that's the way I chose to do this. All right, I've blocked everything down one last time. Let's see how many tries this takes. I'm gonna go grab the hood and see if I can get it back on here by myself. We're gonna do the reverse. I'm gonna prop the front end and allow it to sit on these hinges, and then I'm gonna try and hold it up and screw it in with one hand. Wish me luck. All right, so far so good. All right, we have it in the basic location. Now I gotta get it propped up at an angle. So I'm gonna double up the protection on the window on that side, see what I can do. All right. Now let's see if I can get one side in. So far, we're doing pretty good. So I got 2 screws here and here, for those of you that don't know what the heck I'm doing here. And what I'm gonna try and do is tilt the entire hood up, lock in the bottom screw on this side, and then do the one on that side. Let's see what happens. Since I'm working over here, you can watch me fail from that angle. All right, let's see what happens. Well, that definitely came in handy. And now for side 2. See if we can get this bolt up in here. Would you look at that? All right, let's get the bottom 2 bolts in. Keep moving. Get the second bolt up in here. was quite the little exercise, wasn't it? Let's see how far out of alignment we are to close this thing. I'm gonna scratch the hell out of my new work here. That's pretty good. Not good, but not bad. All right, hood's on. I'll align it after the fact. I really just wanted to get it on so that way I can back the truck out, wash it in the driveway, give it one last little scuff with a red scuff pad. Then I'll bring it back inside and I will hit it with some grease and wax remover. It's ready for paint. Have a look. That was a lot of work. We've got our nasty little quarter that you guys saw that I was working on here. That is beautiful, all lined up and sexy like. It's dusty and dirty. What you're seeing here is just sanding dust. So now I actually have to work on the color selection. I have the colors selected, as you guys saw. Hold on a second. You guys can see these here. This is the basic colors that we're working with. Just not sure exactly how I'm going to pop them onto the cab. So I'm thinking about doing the top half here, and then from here to here, a secondary color all the way around, and then wrap that into the mural tailgate. This way it's got a two-tone setup, which I kind of like. I'm thinking maybe a purple candy for the top and a black possibly for the band. Black with metal flake. So I've got a bunch of different additives. Thinking I'm going to throw some of this black metal flake into the band, and then we'll use more of this. This is what the dash came out with, the purple and blue. Got a couple different kinds of that. Also got some purple flake here. So I've just got to figure out how I want to do it. I know what colors I want to use, and once I've got that done, you guys will be the first to know. All right, let me know your thoughts. If you guys like this, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell to see my latest shenanigans. Take a look at my playlist. You can take a look at how we got here. I've also got some home automotive DIY. If you're this is your first time to the channel, take a look at some of the other stuff and follow along. See you in the next one.